Alright, so the New York Rangers are one of the few NHL teams that are not actually playing a game later today. Or who have already played a game today, actually. So with that in mind, I feel like it's okay to dive into them and their trade situation on this day, at this time, as I sit here eagerly anticipating the start of Vancouver-Montreal. We're on the profile of one particular Brennan Othmann, because we have ourselves an update as to what the trade situation is going like for him, but we also have to set up some of the context here. So, as we had mentioned, the New York Rangers are not playing today. They've got the Calgary Flames tomorrow at 5, that is, Vancouver time. They then visit the Vancouver Canucks and then the Edmonton Oilers on Tuesday and Thursday. That Tuesday game is going to be very interesting because it's JT Miller's grand return to Rogers Arena. I wonder how many JT Miller chants we end up hearing in the crowd that night. But these recent games for the Rangers have been quite daunting. 6-5 overtime loss versus the San Jose Sharks, with that very same JT Miller contributing to the Sharks' overtime winner. He said in the media that he didn't take the opponent seriously. The team, the Rangers, they didn't take the opponent seriously. Thus, the 6-5 loss. Then you had the 3-1 loss to the Rangers earlier on Monday. That wasn't fun to watch either. I mean, aside the win from Montreal, New York is doing really poorly these past few games here. Loss against the Caps, loss against the Oilers, shutout in back-to-back games, by the way, loss against the Maple Leafs, beat Montreal, but then loss against the Wild, loss against the Sharks. It's not looking all too good for the Rangers, and Brennan Othmann, despite the fact that he is in trade talks right now, has been called up and he's going to be playing in the next little while here. This was posted onto the Rangers subreddit. It is the proposed forward lines heading into their 4-game road trip. You've got Panarin, Miller, and Radish, Sherry, Zibanejad, Lafreniere, Will Cooley, Laba, and Brennan Othmann, and then you've got Edstrom, Carrick, and Parsonen. So, yeah, this looks totally great, doesn't it? Top comment says, "We're gonna die out there." That's amazing. The quest for an actual first-line right wing continues. Glad to see Cooley being moved back down. He was awesome last year, but I think he's more suited to a third-line role, and hope it works out for him. Trocheck going down really messed up our original look, with Zibanejad playing first-line right wing. Ready for that third line to throw bombs now that Cooley's back at his house where he thrives. I missed when the Rangers had players I liked watching play. And then you've got a bunch of other people going out there and just saying, yeah, I mean, every line has at least one not great player. That's not entirely true. Some lines have two. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. But speaking about the New York Rangers and talking about their progression into the next little while, we do have ourselves an update on that Brennan Othmann from Elliotte Friedman. He went out there and said this on 32 Thoughts. When asked, the Rangers have requested good AHL prospects in exchange for Brennan Othmann. This is, of course, from his article from a few days ago, 32 Thoughts, Flames slip into the danger zone as the season begins to slip away. And it is thought number 11. It's a very short thought, it's just right here. And it's quite interesting to see some of the responses from Rangers fans on this piece of info. Isn't that what Brennan Othmann is? I think they're probably looking for a change of scenery trade on both sides. They're also probably looking for a left-handed D or a center prospect, because that's where the team has the weakest depth. Center should absolutely be their priority. Every other position can be filled far more easily. But center, that's a tough one to find. How does everyone look at our track record and not just completely clean house for both our scouting and developing departments? Lias Anderson, Vitaly Kravtsov, Capo Kakko, Niels Lundqvist, Alexi Lafreniere, Libor Hadjic, Gauthier, Jones, and now Othmann, all first-round draft picks, some obviously not our draft picks, that we have failed to develop. Something has to change. And that, I think, is a pretty big conversation that you can also talk about when it comes to this Rangers squad. You know, you talk about what Brennan Othmann is and how he isn't necessarily working out all too well. Even in Hartford, he's only got 1 point in 4 games. Now he's going to be playing with New York, still trying to get the monkey off of his back. He's got 25 total games played of NHL experience and 2 points. So obviously, Brennan Othmann, former first-round prospect back in 2021, he is not working out as well as he could be. Just look at some of the other guys who were taken after him, who have produced a lot more in the National Hockey League so far. I mean, immediately taken after Othmann was Zachary Bolduc, who is a stud for the Montreal Canadiens. Wyatt Johnston is over here. Zachary Leroy is over here too. And then in the second round, you've got even more good guys like Josh Doan, Riker Evans, and Olin Zellweger. Logan Stankoven probably should have been taken a lot higher. Matthew Nyes is a first liner for Toronto. I mean, say what you want about the Rangers in particular, but they haven't been good at drafting. And this was also expanded upon more on this thread on NYR's subreddit. What should have been done better in hindsight? It feels like ever since the letter, we've gotten the worst of both worlds. We had our rebuild from 2018 to 2021, and even though the 22 to 24 seasons were a lot of fun, it feels very empty now considering where we're at. After the disaster of last season and the slow start this season, what should we have done better? The top reply says, we probably should have kept Gorton and JD. We still don't know why exactly they got fired. They got fired for not caving into Dolan's absurd demands around the letter, or to put it simply, because Dolan is an a-hole. Okay, that's something that I think us fans cannot fully go out there and dive into as much as we want. They needed to draft better and have better draft luck. Our consensus first and second overall picks wound up being middle sixers. Then we wasted, 5 top 15 first rounders? Kravtsov, Anderson, whomever else. Yeah, I'm going to fill that blanks in there for you. Elias Anderson, not great. Of course, Vitaly Kravtsov, not great. Brennan Othmann, the subject of today's video, not great. You can say Niels Lundqvist, not great. Philip Hedl, he was okay, but he's now in Vancouver. Now his career could be potentially on the line. Cheadle wound up getting badly injured, and that didn't help because he has at least the ability to be good. That sank the rebuild because that was the rebuild. Then we just started trying to plug holes that the picks wound up leaving us with. Looking at no good upcoming UFAs, our lack of assets that could be traded for impact players, and the lack of any real star prospects means we're back in a rebuild just without a letter this time. Luckily, we still have at least 2 first-rounders this year. Everyone needs to realign their expectations for this year. It's all about watching whatever young guys we do have grow. Anything else going on is mostly whatever. But of course, we don't have many young guys who are unknown entities already. Dolan shouldn't have fired Gorton and crew because they weren't absolute yes-men. The entire 2018 trade deadline was a mess. The core Gorton had the benefit to liquidate should have returned enough future capital to fund the dynasty. Instead, they barely have anything to show for it. Headlined by the Tampa trade, which was the worst trade since the lockout. Also, the idea of trading McDonough and then just giving his contract to a far inferior defenseman, and paying more to Winnipeg to acquire Trouba than we got from Tampa for Mac. So many things that they're talking about here, from trades and other things, but Ray the Calvinist says, hey, we didn't draft well. It's that simple. If Laff and Kakko panned out better, we likely would have won by now, but they didn't, and you can't afford 2 misses in the top 5 and expect a rebuild to go well. This dude, we picked exactly who we should have, it just didn't work out. Pens got 1 and 2 and drafted Sid and Malkin. Hawks got 1 and 3 and drafted Kane and Taves. We got Laff and Kakko. What are you going to do? And that is also quite accurate as well. I mean, it's not like Lafreniere and Kakko were off-the-board picks. They were the consensus at that spot. So, the Rangers, they got really unlucky with the guys that they drafted, the guys they developed. Now Brennan Othmann is going to be given a shot later on in the week, but he's got that trade status attached to him. And that's what we dove into here today. So if you're a Rangers fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about all these Rangers discussion points, and what are your thoughts on Brennan Othmann's seemingly inevitable trade? If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's there for you as well. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.